One of the most common questions I get from my students is how do I establish the center point of my artwork? This is an important question and a serious thing, so let's take a look at it in this video. Marking the center point of the artwork is primarily important when you want to reflect parts of the artwork that should match, so to speak. For instance, parts of the face, wings, like in the previous video, other parts of the human body, etc. If you know that you are going to be reflecting a lot while creating a specific piece of your artwork, it's a good idea to mark the center spot as the very first thing that you do. And if you don't need to find the perfect center point of the artboard, you can just grab the guides and make them intersect anywhere you want. However, if you want to make sure that your center spot is exactly in the center spot of the artboard, here's what you can do. You can grab the rectangular grid tool, which we talked about before, and create a grid that covers the whole artboard. What we need to do now is we need to decrease the number of both the vertical and the horizontal dividers to 1 by pressing the left and down arrow keys. Now we can go to the View menu, Guides, Make Guides, and turn the grid into guides marking the exact center of the artboard. Now, that's all good and fine, but what if we want to reflect, for instance, ears in relation to the center point or center axis of the face? Let's pretend that this humble ellipse is a face and that the left, smaller ellipse is the left ear. What I want to do now is I want to reflect it in relation to the center of the face ellipse, so the ears are sitting where they need to. The easiest way would be to simply enter the preview mode, and we can see this little center mark inside the ellipse. We can now use it as a reference point for our transformation. Well, that's easy, because we got a simple shape like this ellipse right here, but if we move to a more complex one, like the butterfly right here, finding a center point will be just impossible. We can, however, find a piece of artwork that has an anchor point sitting in the middle, like the one right here. Mind that we still have the reflect tool selected, but if I just hover close enough over this anchor point and hold down the Control key or Command on a Mac, the cursor will turn into the selection tool, and when a small hollow square appears next to it, I can be sure that I am selecting exactly the anchor point I want. So all I have to do now is to let go of the Control key, and as you can see, the Reflect tool cursor is right over the anchor point I want, and I can Alt-click on it to reflect the wing. But what if there is absolutely no way to tell where the center point is either by entering the preview mode or finding an anchor point? Well, there's one little trick we could use. Let's for a second pretend that this ellipse is that kind of an object for which we cannot establish its center point. What I will do is I'll create two simple intersecting lines. And now I'll make sure that they are intersecting exactly in the middle horizontally and vertically. Now I will group them and select them along with the ellipse. And then select the ellipse once more to make it a key object. Now I can align the lines perfectly in the center of the ellipse, just like so. What's left to do now is to just flip the left ellipse, and we are done. These are the 3 ways how you can mark the center spot of the objects in relation to you want to reflect or rotate your artwork. In the next video, we will talk about the Scale tool, so stay tuned.